Hello and welcome to episode 16, I want to say, of the Slow Crafting podcast. My name's Nadine and I'm coming to you tonight from the northwest of England near Manchester. Now this is a more or less bi-weekly podcast about knitting, spinning, crochet, sewing and trying to incorporate a slow living and slow fashion agenda into all those things. Now, if this is your first time joining me today, I apologise for the slightly iffy video quality, but I'm having to record this quite late at night and also out of schedule. We've had the lurg in our house, passed it around everybody I think at one point for the past 3 weeks, so between poorly children, poorly me and generally not sleeping, I'm not recording on schedule. But I'm here now at last, so it was either record tonight or leave it until next week, and I wanted to get something out there without making people wait too long. I'm sorry, I've got a bit of glare on my glasses today, which I don't normally have, but there's not a great deal I can do about that, being not technologically savvy. Okay, straight on with it then. Thank you for joining me today, or tonight rather. I'm just looking at my pile of knitted goodness over there. Eagle-eyed amongst you may notice I'm wearing a rather jazzy jumper. This is my first, only finished object really. I've not had a chance to do a massive amount of knitting, but I finished a jumper, so that's quite a lot of knitting. But no, with the lurg, I've not had a chance to do a lot of knitting. Couldn't really focus on much. So one of the reasons that this jumper's got finished is that most of it is just mindless knitting. There was very little thinking involved, but it was an awesome pattern. Now I don't know how well you can see it. Wrong way. Ooh. It's the Enchanted Mesa by Stephen West, and it's knitted entirely from hand-spun yarn. I made modifications to the neckline. I didn't do the cowl neck for reasons that I went into on the last podcast, but I just didn't want the extra fabric up and around my neck. I just did a folded neckline, so I knitted sort of twice the length that I wanted to, then folded it over and grafted the stitches together with the ones, or rather picked up and knitted together the lie stitches and stitches from the cast on edge. There we go. Yes, so I've got 3 different colours of hand spun, or 3 different batches of no, 4. My head's still not really together. 4 different batches of hand spun. The white is hand spun Cheviot, just undyed, natural colour. The first colour is look, I'm just checking which order I did it in. It's some natural, not natural at all. It's some white BFL plied with a variegated purple merino. That was from my local yarn store. The next colour is pinks and blues and purples, and that was a bag of odds and ends that I spun up from my local yarn store again. And then I've got blues, purples and greeny browns in the next handspun section, and again that was just a bag of odds and ends of merino that I just picked up a bit at a time and spun together without any real sort of plan or colour management involved. But I thought when I looked at them, they would work quite well together. So yes, like I said, the only modification I really made was to the neckline, because I didn't want the cowl neck. I knitted it on the 5mm needles, even though that was recommended for a DK weight yarn, and this hand spun. Some bits were a DK, but it was mostly sort of fingering weight. But I like the fabric that's come out as a result. I was slightly worried it'd be a bit airy and just look really slack, but it's not. It's really warm. I'm normally a very cold person, so I was. Today's been quite chilly, but I've only got a sleeveless tunic on underneath this, and I've not had to go and get my dressing gown and put it on top of my clothes. So, hurrah for wool and natural fibres. Okay, right. So yes, it's nice and warm. It's made of lovely fabric. The other modification I made was to the colour sequencing, because Stephen West uses a wider range of colours in his pattern sample, whereas I've stuck to just my 3 contrast colours, and repeated the white to break them up, and I've not done any big chunks. I've kept the width of the segments relatively consistent, so I tried to match roughly the number of rows that were in the short row sections over here. Short row sections to match the width of the stripes lower down in the body. The wonky sleeves, or wonky armpits, so we've got one that starts, oh you can't see it, go the right way, one that starts in this blue section here, under there, but then this other armpit starts also in a blue section, but 1, 2, 3 rows higher up, or 3 sections higher up. And when you're wearing it, doesn't actually feel that wonky. Because I was going to modify it to try and get it a bit more even, but it actually feels really comfortable. I did have a moment when I first tried it on when I thought, oh, it doesn't feel right. I don't like it. It's not comfortable. Then I put it on the other way around. Surprise, surprise! It was much more comfortable and much more wearable. The way it's knitted, you wouldn't think that there was a front and a back to it, but when it's on my body, it feels like there should be a front and a back. So yes, I'm very, very happy with this, and I think it should be a really wearable piece. So that's good, and it used up some of my hand spun yarn, which is a double win. So oh, I said I'd used only 4 colours. I told a bit of a fib. I didn't quite have enough yarn, so for the last section on this sleeve, so from here upwards, I had to use some other hand spun that I had left over from knitting my last hand spun sweater. It's the green polo necked one that I knitted beginning of the year. But there were some of the same grey browny greens in this as there were in parts of the blue ball, or the predominantly blue ball. But this is the yarn that I had left over was the yarn that I'd beaded, so that's a tiny little bead there, and there's a few of those, so it just feels a little bit fancy on that one cuff. There's a few secret sparkly bits. Yes, very happy with this jumper. As I said, not much else has got worked on. I don't think it's taken me that long at all to knit this jumper. Might be talking 3, at most 5 weeks, I think. Which, for some people, they'd be like, I can do it in much quicker than that, but No, I've been pleasantly surprised by the speed of this. And it's also making me want to knit a penguono, a longer version, because I've seen some of those and I thought that would work really nicely as a jacket. But I've got many things that I need to do before then, including cracking on with some of my Christmas knitting that's been neglected. Now, the only I've got, you might remember from last time I mentioned I got 3 pairs of socks on the go. 2 of them haven't seen much love at all. These are the Hermione's Everyday socks that I'm knitting for my niece. I think I just got to the end of the heel flap in the last episode. Well, I've turned the heel and I've got to the point where I've reduced the stitches so that I'm ready to work the foot straight now. And yes, so they've not seen a massive amount of love, but I think because they had a pattern in them, my head wasn't in the right space to be doing those. So they will be seeing some love in the next week or so. Then there's, I have to remember to turn everything the right way out, because if I knit in the round, I knit it inside out. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see that. Oh, probably not very well. The Cafe Macchiato socks that I'm knitting for my brother for Christmas, they've probably grown maybe an inch or so, maybe a bit more, since the last episode. And yes, luckily he has quite small feet for a man, so they won't take too long. In fact, I'm knitting the same size for my niece as I am for my brother. But the socks that have seen some love are the socks for my mum. It's probably why they've seen so much love, because I'm a bit of a mummy's girl. Here they are. This is using, I don't know if you get a good picture. I can't cope with the back to go in the opposite ways for the camera because it's reversed. These are some Noro sock yarn. I can't remember which one it is, but I mentioned it in the last episode. So I've got one sock finished. Oh, round to green at the bottom. It's got a red heel. It's not orange like it looks on the screen. It is red, bright red. So yeah, that's one finished, and I am about 2/3 of the way through the foot on the second one. There's the heel there. They're just plain vanilla socks with a fish lips kiss heel. Now, on this second sock, you will see that mostly there's quite a sort of very faded colour change. So it's quite muted and staggered between the different colours, except here between the lime and the bright sort of royal blue colour. This is because there is a knot in the yarn. There is also another knot in the yarn a bit higher up, but luckily that hasn't had such a strong visual impact. I don't think my mum will mind, but it's not ideal, and I was a bit cross that there were so many breaks within such a short space, such a short length of wool. Oh, sorry about that. Forgot to switch it off before I started. So yes, on any other ball of wool I wouldn't have minded so much, but you might remember that last time I mentioned that I'd accidentally paid almost 3 times the amount I should have done for this ball of wool. So yes, finding knots in it was not making me happy. But I love the colours, and I do think I am going to have enough left over to squeeze a pair out for me as well, so I can have matching socks with my mum, and that'll be lovely. Right, that's all the works in progress and the finished objects. I do have an upcoming plan for what I'd like to knit next. It's I'm in a sweater knitting, well, in this case probably a cardigan knitting mood, but I want to knit garments, and I've had this for quite some time. It was one of the ladies at the knitting group that I used to go to. I've mentioned before that she died and she left the group. Well, her children brought a lot of her knitting stash into the group to see if any of us wanted it, because they didn't knit, or they wouldn't be able to use it, and they wanted it to go to people that knew her and would be able to make use of it. So the big turquoise shawl that I worn in one of the other episodes was made with some yarn from her, and then this next project is using a kit that she had. Looking at it, I'm thinking possibly from the early 80s. Certainly going by the price on it, it has to be quite old, because I don't think you would get anywhere near the fabulousness of it for the price that it's listed at. Sorry, I've got some rhubarb on the go to stop me being quite so croaky and coughing and barking like some kind of beast at you. Right, so it's a kit that is for a colour work yoke sweater or cardigan. Now, this is the original pattern. Look at them beauties. I will not be knitting it like that. But yeah, so the kit came with the pattern, a ready knitted colourwork yoke that's I assume been steeked. I don't know actually. Yes, I think it's been steeked. So it's open anyway. So smell quite fusty, and then it's got thread through the live stitches at the top, and waste yarn towards the bottom, so that you can cut that and then pick stitches up along the bottom edge. Oh, dropping them all out. And then it comes with ten balls of this Shetland 4-ply from Munro Spun. Now, this company means nothing to me. I'd never heard of it other than seeing it in this woman's knitting stash. But they also used to do some kits for making your own matching or coordinated knitwear and skirts. So you get a pack that had some tweed fabric in it and some wool for knitting a coordinating twin set, I think. So they sounded like a fabulous company, but I don't know if you saw when I lifted the packet up that the price on this kit, I don't know, £4.50. £4.50. Yes, not getting any. I don't think you'd even get the pattern for that these days, let alone 10 balls of Shetland wool. Oh, I think this is going to need a definite soak in something much nicer smelling when I've finished. So yes, it's not quite as grey a green as it's coming out on there. It's a slightly brighter mintier green, I don't know. That might be a better colour. Yeah, that's a better colour. So yes, my thinking is, rather than doing the mainly stockinette, just colourwork yoke sweater that's in the pattern, I'm going to use the yoke and then have the sleeves be stockinette, but the body of the garment be worked in a feather and fan stitch, I think. So it's quite lacy, and I'll do it as a cropped cardigan. Now the reason I'm not doing the feather and fan on the sleeves as well is because I've got quite chubby arms, and lace on chubby arms always makes me feel a bit, I don't know, like I'm trying to squeeze sausage meat through a net curtain. It probably wouldn't look anything like that, but I think I would be more self-conscious of my bingo wings if I was working lace on the sleeves as well. So it will be colourwork yoke, stockinette sleeves, feather and fan, body down to quite a deep ribbing at the bottom. So I've just got to work out how to achieve that now. I might start swatching for the feather and fan pattern to work out what I need to do in terms of the stitch count for the rest of the body. And I've also got to translate the needle sizing on the patterns, because it's written in old needle sizes, which was, if I was at my mum and dad's, it'd be fine, because I'd just go into the bureau where all the knitting needles were kept. There was a special drawer at my mum and dad's in the bureau that was just full of knitting needles that my mum had hoarded and my nan had hoarded, and they were all in old sizing. So when I first started knitting, when I was really small, I'd like look at patterns and I'd go, ooh, and we'll go, right, go get some needles out the drawer, and I'd be there looking at them going, what's a 12 and a 9? These are not real sizes. So yes, I should remember from having to convert it back then, but I can't. So I think I need a 10 and a 12, which I'm thinking might be a 3.5 or a 3mm. I will soon find out when I try and swatch for that. But I'm really looking forward to it, actually. It's going to be a challenge, I think, to try and get it to work how I want it to work, because it will involve lots of maths and swatching and generally fudging things. But I thought it would be really nice to have it done for Christmas, because then I can have a Christmas cardigan that's quite jazzy. Because my hand knits just recently have all been quite practical. I know I'm saying that wearing Stephen West design, but it's still sort of a oversized, baggy, practical, comfy sweater. And I know I'd mentioned a few episodes ago that I could really do with something that was a bit more dressy, because that was something that was missing in my wardrobe. Something that was both handmade or hand knitted and for more formal occasions. So I think I'm going to work on this for wearing as my Christmas knit. Not that it will just be relegated to Christmas, but that will be its first special outing, I think, if I manage to get it finished in time. And yes, and it will probably be brought out for any other special occasions I have. I know I've probably got a christening coming up early next year, so it might be suitable for that as well, if I can find an outfit to go with it. So yes, I'm looking forward to making that one. I'm just looking at the time. I did want to do a bit of a magazine review for you, but one, I don't think the video quality is good enough tonight. I want to wait and do it when I can record in daylight, and you can see things better. I'll just show you the magazines that I was wanting to review. Now it's Plants Are Magic. This is volume 1 on wellbeing, but volume 2 are local plants. Came out last month, end of September. So I was going to talk you through both of them, but I'll do that on the next episode. Yes, the magazines, I'll just give you sort of a quick overview. They're about plants in various different formats. So they talk about natural dyeing, plants for herbal and natural medicine, using them to make health and beauty products, and also botanical drawing and the healing properties of plants in terms of colour, and infusing those into various different things, cloths and wearable items, particularly. So yes, some of the aspects of it are more of interest to me than others, particularly the natural dyeing and the botanical illustrations. Some of the other aspects are less relevant to me, but it's a really good read, and it's really nice to see some independent ad-free publishing. So I'll give you a better review of that next time. And the only other thing I wanted to tell you is, I think I mentioned last episode that I think I showed you the tiny balls of yarn that were the Ericanite British blue knitting yarn, some blue-faced Leicester wool that I was reviewing for the Minerva Crafts website. Now, finished my review for that and got that sent off earlier on today, so hopefully that will be going up on their blog at some point in the future. I'll just have to wait till they let me know publishing date for that, and then I'll post the link across so you can go and find what I thought of that yarn. I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm grinning like a loon, so sorry, that was not an appropriate choice of word. I'm grinning from ear to ear, so yeah, you probably know I'm not going to be saying bad things about it. Right, I think that's about everything, and I shall get off and get on with some knitting. Okay, thank you for watching. I shall see you next time. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.